was in a bus at City Council weekend.
Oh, goodness.
Saturday,
Really?
Leavenworth team was headed up to Chelan. And they've gone through the tunnel outside of Chelan and a pickup lost control. It's nice, lost control across the center line. The bus swerved, the truck still hit their backside, but the bus landed on its side. The drivers or the passengers.
Yeah.
I got it. I was just gonna tell you, I went into your office, by the way.
I was like,
Well, I got my folder. I didn't get anybody else's.
it's every man for himself.
I know that feeling. Yeah. Yes, I've been there.
I was all, there's city council tonight, and then I got really, and all of a sudden my phone goes, city council.
I know, right? You get to doing something.
I'm working on a project now that I'm enjoying so much that it's really bad, because I keep getting.
The time just flies when you're so focused on it.
The School of Education hired me to write a new course for K-12 teachers to teach engineering. And so, and it's an online, go at your own pace.
Yeah.
So I may or may not actually teach the class.
Very cool.
So
Very cool.
you know,
But.
I get really
Yes.
really
They're really into it.
But you don't want to waste that during. Right. Yeah. Yeah. The later part.
Did you tell them that they saw you meant? How's retirement going?
Can you print me one or should I ask my son Sean? Do you mind? I'm sorry.
I don't mind. How many, anybody else? No.
You guys the most significant event that happens.
Do you not write in a pen? Do you
There's a
know?
bet, right?
I have to doodle. Yeah, well, I just have to write it. Yeah, like I have it on here, but.
Getting your job. You go down the list.
Yeah.
It's,
It's the other way my brain pays attention to what's going on.
I'm not a.
Oh, you should see, you should
I'm
see.
biologist.
This is my
Oh,
paper.
now I have more time
Covered up.
for my trade. I'm not. Some recalls. So.
Geez, he makes me feel underdressed. I thought TJ was.
I'm looking at these nice suits.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Madam Mayor, we are live streaming and recording and ready to go whenever you are.
All right, I am ready then. It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, and I now call to order the 2173rd regular meeting of the City of College Place City Council. Madam Clerk, will you please take roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Lopez,
Present.
Councilmember Cleveland,
Present.
Councilmember Espinoza, Councilmember Peterson,
Present.
Councilmember Williams,
Present.
Councilmember Sherman, Present. We do have or Councilmember Boyle, and that's it. We're all here. And I'm out. Present. We do have a quorum.
Excellent. We have a full house today. Thank you everyone for being here. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, thank you. It's now time for public comment. Mary Elizabeth, did anyone submit a written comments in advance or request to speak via telephone or virtually?
No, ma'am.
All right. And there is no one in council chambers, with the exception of staff. So I'm going to move on to the consent agenda, which consists of the agenda for tonight, December 9th, 2025, approving the council regular meeting minutes from November 2025, updating the bank signing authorization to the new city administrator, appointing College Place resident Sherry Hartford to the salary commission position, which was the first application for that. So we are very grateful for that citizens' involvement, and approving the final budget amendment for 2025. Are there any items any member of the council would like removed from the consent agenda at this time? And if not, do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Go, please.
All right, we have a first and a double second.
Was that Councilmember Williams?
Cat Williams, yes. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. There's no presentations on the agenda tonight, and there are no public hearings, so we're just skipping along. We have 7 action items on the agenda tonight. First, Mr. McAndrews will present an agreement for professional services with JUB Engineers for the design of Northwest Earl Lane stormwater improvement.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Yeah, so on this, this is one of the projects we've applied for funding for several years in a row. Earl Lane over off of West Whitman. When we have rains, heavy rains, we often have standing water and some flooding over there. And we've tried to get funding to address that. This year, our funding application, we were able to get, tie it to a water quality need, and the Department of Ecology agreed to fund design, which will be another agenda item in a little bit to accept that. But we've engaged with JUB Engineers, and they've given us a proposal to do the design of the stormwater improvements on Earl Lane. And so, yeah, this would be $96,000 for design for the stormwater improvements, which will eliminate the flooding and help treat the water before it makes it to the storm system. Yes, any questions?
All right. Councilmember Lopez, questions or comments?
None at this time. Thank you.
Councilmember Cleveland,
No questions.
Councilmember Espinosa,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Peterson,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Sherman,
No question.
and Councilmember Boyle.
No questions.
You worked us out of all of our questions from earlier.
Not perfect.
All right, I do have one question. Is this the same street where the sinkhole happened? Or, oh, that was Ivy Lane.
Yes, that was Ivy Lane, sorry, and that was the water, that was because of a broken
Lane.
water line, yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so there's no discussion. Is there a motion for this request to authorize?
I'll motion to authorize Public Works Director or designee to sign agreement for professional services with JUB Engineers for $96,000 for design of the Northwest Earl Lane Stormwater Improvements Project.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Peterson.
Councilmember Peterson, second. Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Thank you. Next, Mr. McAndrew is going to present to the council a contract amendment for the DCAT facility final design and construction management.
Thank you, Mayor. If you may recall, we've talked about our decant facility several times. It's been a little while, but we had funding from Department of Ecology to design a decant facility out by the wastewater treatment plant. And then we received additional funding for construction of that project. A decant facility is a facility where we would take our street sweepings and vector and dump it out so that the solids can separate from the liquids. They can dry out, and then with the proper testing can just be turned into soil essentially. So it's definitely a valuable asset for Public Works Department and our storm and sewer. But yeah, so this would be for JUB to increase their contract to include construction management of the construction project, the construction phase. So it'll include cultural and environmental permitting, the final design. So right now we're at 90% design. This gets us to final design, gets the project out to bid, construction management, and then the project closeout. And it's a $355,000 increase to their contract. So their total design contract would be $503,000. Any questions?
Right. Councilmember Lopez.
I don't have any questions other than it sounds like a lot of money.
Councilmember Cleveland.
No questions.
Councilmember Espinosa.
Is there a specific reason for the change of increase in the design cost? Can we point that to something in specific?
Well, previous contract got the design to where it is now. And so then as you get ready to bid, you finalize all the final bidding documents, meeting current standards and specifications, and get everything into a bid packet. So there's just that last little bit of design that goes into this, but a bulk of it is construction management, and then the cultural, environmental permitting, and then all the project closeout stuff that goes along with these projects. So the design piece is relatively small.
Robert,
Yeah.
it's on the contract agreement that's in the packet, where it's listing add new task 101, 102, 103, 104.
Yep, that's where I was just
Okay,
looking to reference.
okay, so those are all the new things
Those
that
are,
add up
yes.
to this cost.
Correct. So the design piece is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to reference it. 103. Well, 104 is construction. Are you asking specifically about the design or?
Well, line item 103 is 45,000 for
Yes.
the design. That's what I see, and the rest is cultural, environmental,
So
permitting.
it's getting to the final set of design plans, the bid and award services. So our consultants typically help us put the bid together, and they handle posting it online, and then the award piece, reviewing bids, summarizing bids. It's getting the final bid package together.
Is that 104? Is that what's costing $250,000?
That's
Construction.
construction
Construction
management. You were asking about design, right?
Well, I asked why the increase in the sticker price. And I thought
I'm sorry, maybe I'm not tracking. For which piece?
for the increase, you said that there was an increase to 355,000.
It's to cover all of these services. So it's the cultural, environmental, the little bit of design that's left. The construction management is the largest piece at $250,000 of that.
But we're increasing the authorized contract from 148 to
The
503,000.
contract was originally not for the whole project. This is to change and update the project is my
It's like step
interpretation.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
step 2.
So it's not a cost overrun. It's a continuing down the track.
Correct.
It's an
Yeah.
addition to the original.
It's the original piece of the project was 148,000, and now the next phase has these added things. So the total is now 503.
Yes.
Am I interpreting that right?
Yeah, you are, and I apologize. I may have misunderstood your question. Yes, so typically with these things, we will enter into kind of the first phase of the design or the consultant agreement to get design underway. We could, in theory, at that time, put a much larger consultant agreement together. But there's a lot of factors typically that you don't know. There's often the ability, if we're not happy with a consultant, we can say, okay, you did the design piece and now we're going to move on to somebody else to handle the next phase of it. And so we commonly will do it in phases and, okay, here's this initial design piece. And now that we're getting ready to bid, we come back for an amendment to add additional scope to it. It was always planned all along. It's just, we're at the point where we're ready to move forward now. They've been able to refine their numbers and their costs and identify exactly what goes into it. Often the Department of Ecology or somebody will say you need cultural monitoring or other things that we don't know up front. And after we've got design well underway, we have a better idea of what those costs are and what additional needs we're going to need from the consultant. So that's where we're at now. And so this is an amendment to the original design contract to get us to the point, get us through construction, essentially. This gets us everything bid and then all the project closeout, as-built and everything like that. So
Thank you.
Councilmember Lopez actually did have a question.
Yeah, sorry, I'm coming back to it. So if basically we did the design, approved that, and then that led to this is going to lead to construction. Do you have, but yet we don't know how much construction is until this is done? Or
that is correct. We
Yeah.
will not know what, so
the total scope isn't figured out yet?
the scope is figured out. I don't know that I have my engineer's estimate with me, so I apologize for
Oh, that's
that.
good.
I'm sure we have an engineer's estimate identifying what they think the cost of the project's going to be. And I'm sorry, I have so many
Yeah.
of these projects, I can't
No,
keep
that's
them in my head,
But that 104 is 250,000, which if it's 5% of the project would be like a $5 million project.
that would be accurate, except I think we're in the realm of about $2 million.
So it's 10%. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's,
Yes,
Just to also let you guys know that quite often the funding mechanisms are split up into two components. One will get a contract from Department of Ecology for the design, and then we'll have to go back to them within a year or so time in order to see if we can get construction funding. So at the time the bidding or the first grant is only for design, and usually that design takes you to 90%. So this is the next segment where we'll go, I think we have funding for construction.
Yeah, we have full construction funding and it's in the tune of around $2 million. And again, I apologize, I don't have that exact number with me.
Councilmember Peterson.
Do we have we're purchasing a decant truck? Is that correct? Or is it, or what?
No, so in the original funding agreement for design of this, Ecology took two applications we had put together, one for a Vector truck and one for design of the decant facility, and they tied it into one grant essentially. They called it the EMP, which was the Enhanced Maintenance Plan. And so that phase has already been completed and that truck has been purchased and we have it. So the Vector truck, big truck that you would see out cleaning out storm drains, is a piece of the original phase of this project, the design phase that was funded, and will be one of the pieces of equipment that will use this decant facility.
Thanks for reminding me that already happened. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Right. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you. No questions.
Oh, she understood it. That's why. Councilmember Sherman,
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Boyle.
no questions.
All right. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to authorize?
This is Councilmember Williams. I will move to authorize Public Works Director or designee to sign a contract amendment with JUB Engineers in the amount of $355,000, increasing the currently authorized contract from $148,000 to $503,000 for final design and construction management of the decant facility.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second,
Councilmember
Councilmember Cleveland? Thank you. Any additional discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Mr. McAndrews, you're going to present on funding to redesign the stormwater system and improve water quality in Garrison Creek and the Walla Walla River. Is that not what,
I mean,
let me take a look at what,
this should be for accepting a Department of Ecology grant for the design of the Northwest Earl Lane stormwater improvements, I think.
That might be what it was.
that's it, 5.03, right?
Okay, sorry, you threw me off there. So going back to my first action item tonight for JUB's design of the Earl Lane stormwater. This is the actual acceptance of the grant through the Department of Ecology. So they have agreed to give us $93,100 with a $4,900 local match from the city. So it's actually a really good mix for us and a good ratio is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so this just covers design of that, the engineering for the Earl Lane project. And that's it. Any questions?
All right. Councilmember Lopez,
No question, 6.
Councilmember Cleveland,
I was about to ask if we have any idea of the scope of how much this project will cost, but I suppose we really won't have any good numbers until after design, so.
That is correct. Once we have the design, we'll have a more accurate engineer's estimate and we will go back to ask for construction funding at that time. And
In steps of
historically,
say $500,000, are we looking at about $500,000, 1 million?
that would be my guess, is in the $500,000 range.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Espinosa, Councilmember Peterson,
No questions.
Councilmember Williams.
I don't have any questions, but I appreciate that the JUB contract is less than the grant amount. So if there's any issues, we have a little money left over. So good job.
Councilmember Sherman.
No, it's just Robert spending a lot of money tonight.
I know.
But no, thank you, Robert.
Councilmember Boyle.
No questions. Thanks, Rob.
All right. So if we have no further discussion, do we have a motion to accept?
I move to accept Department of Ecology funding in the amount of $93,100 with a local match of $4,900 for the design of Northwest Earl Lane stormwater improvements and authorize Public Works Director or designee to sign agreement with Department of Ecology.
I'll second.
Wonderful. We have a first and a second with Councilmember Boyle. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. And I do have a note here that just jumping ahead a little bit. 5.05 on our list is actually a duplicate of 5.03, so there is that 5.05 will be removed after in the next one. So, Mr. McAndrew, you'll present an amendment for project 1 of Reservoir 4 and the transmission main project.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this one's a little bit more complicated to explain. This is the Reservoir 4 project. So the new 1 million gallon water tank going up on the bluff above the gun range and the transmission main that goes from it out Owens Lane to Majania Road and all the way to College Avenue. This project got awarded to JUB for design. And then through the design process and with the complexities of other projects, the Majania Road reconstruction project and the Well 8 project, And then with some miscellaneous funding that's involved in it, it got kind of separated into 3 sub-projects, if you will. So project 1 of this transmission main and water tower project is the piece of the project that is within Majania Road, within the Majania Road reconstruction project. And will be constructed at the time that Majania Road project goes forward. JUB did design of the water line because they were doing the entire water line, but PBS, now Apex, did the design of the road. So Apex will be overseeing that piece of the project, but we'll need some JUB support for the design they did. Project 2 is the rest of that transmission main. So from city limits to the west along Majania, and then up Owens Road and through the field and to the location of the future water tower. JUB did that design. The plan is to take that piece out, put it out to add to start in construction in the beginning of the year, hopefully in January. And they will do all of the construction management and construction observation for that project, and the cultural monitoring and everything that goes with that. And then project 3 is the water tower itself. There's some federal funding and some pieces involved in that the funding won't entirely be there until the federal budget stuff's all sorted out and it's administered through Army Corps of Engineers. So we are leaving that piece to last, and so that that funding can be part of, or can be in place. So what this agenda item here is for is an amendment to the contract with JUB. The first piece of it, the original just about $1 million, was for the design of it all. This amendment is adding another $1,010,000 to that contract. And that is for all of for another $40,000, finalize the tank and transmission main design, $53,000 to assist with Apex for the construction phase services for project 1, and then $787,000 for project 2 construction phase services, and then $130,000 for project 2 cultural monitoring, which is required as part of this project. So the construction phase project, or for project 2, is the bulk of it. That's $787,000, and that includes contract administration, all of the pre-con and progress meetings throughout the duration of the project, review of submittals and RFIs, field orders, change orders, work change directives, periodic engineer site visits, construction observations for 160 working days. So they'll have somebody on site for 160 days. That's a bulk of this. And then site visit for equipment startup and testing and record drawings. So I know it sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but it's necessary to get this project done. And it is funded as part of the Department of Health grant that we have for the project. At this point, I'll turn it over for questions.
I do wish we could have got them to cut down $10,000 though. Councilmember Lopez.
I think you did a great job of explaining something that's very complicated. Thank you for doing it. No questions.
Councilmember Cleveland.
No questions, thanks.
Councilmember Espinosa.
Just as a reminder, the funding structure for this project is what percentage, a grant or?
Yeah, we have a $10 million grant from the Department of Health for this project. It's 50-50 grant and low interest loan. We also have some funding from the feds for the Majania Road portion. There's a whole bunch of funding mechanisms and I don't have all of them. I know, I can't remember who else is in there.
I think there's a couple earmarks.
Yes.
Federal earmarks, and then there's what they call a WERDA grant, which is administered to the Army Corps of Engineers. It's about $5 million. Actually, it's exactly $5 million, I think. And that's the piece that nothing can happen until all that federal budget's put into place, and then the Army Corps of Engineers can take it from there. So that part that piece of the funding is being, again, saved for the water tower component of it. Instead of bidding this all out in one big project, that's part of why it kind of got separated into three. And so the 10 million from Department of Health is expected to cover all of this project two, and then this amendment that kind of trickles over into project one as well.
Thank you.
Councilmember Peterson.
So the math on this, during the budget, we talked about the number of loans that we have out there, the low interest. So we like low interest loans. Is we sometimes, and your presentation, Brian, was really good as far as listing them and whatnot. Part of the assumption here, obviously, is that we'll get this low interest loan and we will develop this, but there will be a revenue stream out there sometime in the future that we really don't know what that is. We can't say to repay this low interest loan over time. We're counting at improvements in the future and additions in the future to help pay for this cost.
Well, yeah, definitely the developments occurring on that west side of town are going to be a key component or driver for the success of these projects. So that's the risk that we have as a city, that those projects need to go. So everyone's on the same page and all the managers in the city are aware of this, that those projects need to go. That's the driver.
There. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
I took my students to visit a WashDOT project, and they were explaining how they have learned that lumping everything into one giant project doesn't work. And so they've been splitting things out into smaller projects. And it's like, yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, sometimes that makes more sense, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that it's often driven by our funding sources that we can get on the projects.
Councilmember Sherman.
No questions, just excited to see it moving along.
Councilmember Boyle.
No questions, thanks.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to authorize?
A motion to authorize Public Works Director or designee to sign contract amendment with JUB Engineers to the Reservoir Number 4 and Transmission Main Project, increasing the currently authorized amount by $1,010,000 for a new total contract price of $2,021,900.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Espinoza.
Councilmember Espinoza, thank you. Any other discussions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Thank you. We're going to move on to what on our agenda is 5.06. And wow, we're going to give Mr. McAndrews a break and go to Mr. Carlton to present the final fiscal year 2026 budget.
Well, here we go. This is your fourth rendition of the budget for this year. This is a pretty consolidated budget. You've seen the numbers, not much has changed. The next sheet will show you the changes since the last rendition. Go through those briefly. We had to move a vehicle purchase that was in the budget for this year. It was ordered, but there is a chance that we might not receive it by the end of the year. And being a cash-based city, we can't recognize that. We don't want to recognize that expense this year if we don't spend it. So we're going to push that amount forward into next year. It doesn't affect the ending fund balance because it's just a movement between the funds. The second one is there's a $72,000 addition in the CFP for a fire department paging system. That system is very old and is in desperate need of replacement, and it's been put as a priority for the fire department. So we've included that in next year's budget. Also, some of the projects on the CFP relating to the sidewalk projects, there's a number of them. I had it initially in there at all being completed next year, but there's some of the projects are going to be in design next year with construction the following year. So we've moved a total of just over $1.8 million from 2026 to 2027. The final one is there was some, after I reconciled the interfund transfers, there was a few changes and actually an increase in revenue of 188,000. That totaled up to a positive ending fund balance change of $116,000. Next slide. This is where we stand with the budget. It says preliminary, but I think we're beyond preliminary. Sorry, I didn't change that. Opening fund balance, 20.3 million. Revenue, 76.7. Expenditures, 84. And with an ending fund balance of 12.7, you can see a drawdown of 7.6. But as I've discussed in every meeting, that's totally anticipated with spending on projects that we have. The biggest one is the TIF money is the largest portion of that we're going to be using on a number of projects. Well, there's actually 3 projects in particular: Majania Road, the East-West Road, and the parking lots consume a large portion. There is some drawdown in a couple of the in wastewater, basically due to the projects and accumulation of we've accumulated reserves over the last 3-4 years to pay for our portion of projects that aren't covered by the grants. Next slide. Here's the detail. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of numbers on there that are hard to see. Again, going through, you can see the capital reserve fund in the middle has a drawdown of 5.6 million. And there's that fund 360. If you can pull into there, a $5.8 million drawdown. That's the TIF money that we received on the bond back in 2024. And those funds have been expended. There was a total of 8 million, just over $8 million on the TIF bond. So you can see that we're going to draw that down to virtually all of it next year. And there's $5.8 million being spent. So we've spent about 2.2 million of that 8 million so far. Down a little further under the water funds, you can see a bit of drawdown there. Quite a few projects. The Force Main is one where we have our portion. So we have a drawdown of 1.5 million, but still very healthy reserves at just under $4 million. Wastewater, the next one, you can see they have a small drawdown. Again, a little bit in the operating. We talked previously about the whole issue of increasing costs outstripping our increase in revenue. And we are starting to see that. We see it a lot in current expense, but we're also starting to see that in the operating funds. So we're being very cognizant of that and watching our fund balances as we move forward. The wastewater, small drawdown, 735,000, but still very healthy fund balance of 4.8 million. And then just a couple of the other smaller stormwater. We are seeing a slight drawdown in their funds as we expend more money in the stormwater fund, the operating fund. Again, attributing to that reduction in not reduction in revenue, but revenue not increasing at the same pace as costs. So in total, that $7.6 million drawdown, I treat as totally predicted. So if you go to the next slide, you can kind of see the trend here in the ending fund balance. You can see there's some spikes there. The first spike back in 2014 was when we issued the bond on the CARS project. And then you can see the spending drawdown over the next couple of years, in a year or two. And then you can see again in 2025, we have the TIF bond money, and then that's being spent over 2026. So you can see the drawdown there. So that puts us about in the middle of where we've been historically on ending fund balance. So something to watch that we're going to pay attention. Next year, we're going to redo our utility rate models, which expand out over the next 10 years. So we can determine, again, where that to ensure that we can fund loans and we're healthy. Next slide. just some of the major projects going in. Next year, you can see some of those are basically the big ones. We got Lions Park Community Center. If that moves forward, we're still working on funding on that to finish that off or to start it, but make sure we have sufficient funding. We got the decamp facility to just over 2 million. Southeast Birch Stormwater Project, 3.4 million. The downtown parking lot at 1.1 million. And of course, you remember we bought the 2 pieces of property across the street last year. So that's part of that spending. I think the total on that was predicted at $2 million. We got the Safe Walk projects. That's the one where we've moved some of that money for construction into 2027. We have Majonier Road, which is a huge project, $9.6 million, various funding mechanisms. You can see the list of ones available there. And TIF makes up 18.1% of that funding bucket. Wastewater treatment plant, $10 million. That's fully funded. We used up our EPA grant at $3.5 million this year on that project, and that will be moving into the Department of Ecology money, which we're guaranteed at $26 million, of which half is grant, half is low interest loan. Then we have well number 8 development. That should probably say well number 9 at $4 million. We're still working on whether they'll accept our different funding changes. You guys are all aware of that. Martin Airfield, the water tower is in there at 8 million. And that also depends on, a lot depends, like Robert had said, on that word of funding with the Army Corps. It's a big impact on that. And also our transmission, Reservoir 4 transmission main project at 5 mil. Partly funded by TIF, and again, also the word of money in there as well. So that's a total of $47 million in potential project funding for projects for next year.
Just a few. Right,
Yeah.
Robert?
Just a few.
Next is the staffing for next year. No changes from the prior presentations. You know, pretty low increases in our benefit coverages. There is, I guess, shouldn't say little, 5% for health for the police with no other increases across their amount of coverage. All other employees, you can see the health is going up 8.7%, nothing on vision, dental 4.3%, and no increase in standard life or the employee assistance program. And we don't have any additional staff for next year besides the one open spot in the police department. And we've talked about that numerous times. Here you got, this is the same slide presented as last time, our debt capacities. And you can see we're well within our constitutional debt limit. Something that we really have to be aware of when we're going at projects to make sure that we could fund them. And all of that's in the all the revenue ones, which are the utilities starting halfway down. Those are all covered by our utility rates. So we're very cognizant of increasing rates or not increasing rates, but still being able to afford to do projects that make the city better. Next slide is our contingencies. Not much of a change there. Current expense, we're, you know, close to our target, but a little bit above it. So hopefully we're better than we were. Again, we talked extensively about having to use our reserve numbers to prop up our current expense balance next year. But again, I won't know until probably the end of the first quarter whether we're going to need that money. They're not looking too bad. Our bank balances are solid. So I'm hoping it's going to be better. And we are behind in our financials. Our goal is to get that all caught up by the end of the first quarter. The yearly financials are due to the state at the end of May. So you can see that our current expense reserve number, that's in a negative position because the anticipation is to use that. It is in the opening fund balance. You can see that our facilities maintenance reserve, we spent a fair bit of money there in the last few years. So that's dipped below its target. So it'll be our goal to improve that over the next few years. Other than that, we're in compliance on all of our reserve requirements. And that is the 2026 budget for your approval.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for all your work on that. I mean, I know we say it, but really, truly, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lopez, questions or comments?
Great work. Thank you. No questions.
Councilmember Cleveland,
No questions. Thank you for your work.
Councilmember Espinosa,
Thank you for the hard work. Appreciate it, Brian.
Councilmember Peterson,
Thanks, Brian, and your staff.
Councilmember Williams.
We looked at the major capital projects and we're like, wow, that's a lot of money. That's a big drawdown. But some of these are projects that we've been working on for so many years. And some of them are projects that go back to what people are asking for when the city was founded, namely the sidewalks. And so I am thrilled to see this. And I appreciate all the hard work of Brian and your staff and all of the department heads in putting this all together. I used to have to do budget. I know how much work it is. So thank you.
Councilmember Sherman
No questions. Thanks, Brian.
and Councilmember Boyle.
Same, just thank you. We know this wasn't an easy one, so
No.
great job.
All right, any other discussion? All right, if not, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 25-015, approving the fiscal year 2026 budget.
Second.
Oh, I should have waited for the
Councilmember
second.
Boyle was a second. All right, we have a first and a quick second. Any additional discussion? All right. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Yeah, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Thank you, Brian. Yeah. Yeah. I do mention though, is we're currently having, well, we're currently being audited. And this year I am privy to emails, unlike in the past years, because the city administrator in the past would have done that. And so this year I've been on more emails from department heads than ever. I've got to mention, now that I'm on these emails, Brian, I got to recognize how those emails and those requests for information and the questions back is just like takes up your whole day. I can see that and I can recognize that. Yet you're trying to get all this other stuff done. And I want to share with the rest of council that you are working very hard on this. And the fact that you got this budget, and it was so complex this year because of our financial needs this year and needing to make changes. You're doing an amazing job. I know it's hard with those auditors coming at you and saying that you're not getting things on time, or wait a minute, oh, thank you for all that, but I forgot one more, so can you go back and look for this, right? Recognize that.
I think there was 20 emails today from them.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it's not just this budget, it's been the capital facility plan, the information technology plan, the equipment replacement plan, the legislative agendas for state and federal, the property tax levy, and the budget amendment, just off the top of my head that he's pulled off.
That he's been doing in the just second part of the year. So, thank you.
Yeah.
And
You know,
it's incredible work. It really is. We do applaud you. I want you to know that. All right, now hopefully that we made you cry, you're going to present on the last action item of the year. The final 2025 fee resolution update.
Last few changes to the fee schedule as a result of you approving the budget. In summary, there's the adjustment for the stormwater and ambulance fee increased by 3%. There was some ambulance fees that were incorrectly adjusted in the last resolution. You guys signed at the last meeting. There was an incorrect version got shared, and so I updated those. Thanks to Fire Chief for bringing those to my attention. And then we also have in there's an increase, but it's currently not in the fee schedule, and that's our utility taxes. We just wanted to bring up that we are increasing our water and wastewater utility tax from 10 to 13%, and we're establishing a stormwater utility at 13%. We ran through those numbers, and I didn't include them in the budget. I think I've maybe forgot to, but you guys remember how little impact it was on someone's average monthly bill for increasing these amounts, but it does provide a little bit of buffer into current expense that we desperately need. So we tried by not increasing the utility rates on water and wastewater, trying to balance out between cost reduction and increasing revenues. There's a few other little small changes in verbiage and stuff in there, but that's about all the changes.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that breakdown. Councilmember Lopez, questions or comments?
That makes sense. Thank you.
Councilmember Cleveland,
No questions.
Councilmember Espinosa, Councilmember Peterson.
You know, Troy and Brian, and I think the mayor, I would seriously want to look at those bank fees maybe in 6 months or something. I know we didn't want to overwhelm
Yeah, that was the
system with all these
strategy.
changes, but I seriously believe that that fee should be charged back to the card on credit cards, not on debit cards, but or wires. But yeah, I think that's a little bit unusual to be taking that hit, and especially at the amount I think that we discussed at the last.
It's about 100,000 a
Yeah,
year.
so I think that would really encourage us to probably terminate that sometime in the future. Yeah, so
Yeah, we can bring it up for discussion.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
let this. Yeah, thanks.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us to put that on a future agenda.
Yeah.
Councilmember Williams,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Sherman,
No question.
and Councilmember Boyle.
No questions. Thanks.
All right, any other discussion?
Mayor, this is Scott Mahalik. I'm sorry to bring this up. I've been trying to look through and do a little homework on this, but I'm a little bit concerned about the ambulance utility. We had this come up in a different jurisdiction, and I'm a little worried that the ambulance utility fee,
Yeah.
there might be some steps that are required to implement that, and we have not been asked to look into that, but I want to at least raise that issue tonight in case we want to hold off on voting about it. I'm just, like I said, it's a complicated issue, and I'm not sure that there's an issue here, but I want to at least raise it and bring it to your attention so you can hold off if you need us to follow up on it, look into it. There's just, and I guess the way I would explain it is that there's some requirements as to how the ambulance utility is funded, and I'm just a little concerned that that hasn't not been considered with the new fees for that. So just want to bring it up. If you want us to look into it further, we will do that. But I wanted to at least raise that issue tonight in case you need us to do so.
Okay,
Well, this was implemented, this is not new. This was implemented, I think, 3 years ago. And we followed RCW rules with setting this up. So I'm not aware of any issues.
Okay, and I guess my concern was that there was a change being implemented with regard to those fees. If there's not a change, and it was done properly to begin with, I'm not concerned about that. But I thought that there was an increase on the fees for that, and that was my concern, that we might be having an issue there.
okay, thank you. Well,
Was it just Brian, was it just a correction that on the past fee resolution that was at the last council meeting, the wrong numbers got put in, and this is putting it back to what it was supposed. Okay, never mind.
That's what I was thinking initially, but the more I was looking into it, the more I was concerned that this was actually an increase, and I'm just a little worried that that the proper steps were not followed or considered with this issue. But if they have, then we could be fine. I just don't know for certain that they were, so.
Yeah, it is an increase. So can you tell us what proper steps that you're concerned that might have not been taken?
The RCW that I'm referring to is RCW 35, sorry, my glasses, 35-21-766. And there's just some requirements as to how an ambulance utility is funded. And specifically, let's see, let me make sure I'm saying the correct portion. Section 4E1 or EI and EII. And it's somewhat complicated. So that's my only concern, is that, whether those were considered or not, whether there's an issue there.
Can you give that RCW 35 what?
Yes, it's 35-21.766. And specifically 4E.
Okay, is this, so if our ambulance utility was already established,
Yeah, that's what I've been looking into. It looks, in my understanding, it set in 2018. Does that sound right?
yes.
So that does change the analysis a little bit, but I believe you still have to, let me find the correct section here. And I guess, let me just say this too. So there's certain restrictions on how the ambulance utility gets funded. And under certain circumstances, a public hearing needs to be conducted to change that number. So, and again, I'm not sure if we're running afoul of that or not, or if this issue has been considered by others. I see John has his hand up,
Yeah,
on
John?
the,
Mr. Rickard?
Yeah, my recollection is that there was that proper procedures went through to make the increase. It just didn't get reflected in the fee resolution. I don't know the exact timing on that, and I think that's what David was pointing out. The fire chief was pointing out to Brian, was that the increase that went through these proper steps of holding a public hearing and whatnot, did not get reflected in a fee resolution.
I think that we'd probably be okay if a public hearing was conducted on the issue, whether or not there was a change from how the ambulance utility is being funded. I just wasn't aware of whether that had happened or not, and I just wanted to at least bring the issue up, because I didn't want it to go through and then, raise an issue after the fact, so.
Okay, sorry, I'm reading EI and EII, so
They're complicated. It's a complicated issue.
okay. I think we're pretty confident that we followed the proper procedures here, so I think consensus is we're just gonna move forward with it. So, but thank you, Scott, so much for bringing that up and making us aware.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
it.
Mayor.
Really do. All right. Let me get back to where we were at. All right, any other discussion? Then do we have a motion on this resolution 25-062?
Councilmember Williams, I will move to adopt resolution number 25-062, updating the administrative fees of the City of College Place Municipal Code.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Councilmember Lopez? Councilmember Lopez was a second. Thank you. Any additional discussion?
Yeah, could we get an informational report on this in the first meeting in January?
Yes,
I'll delve into it.
Thank you.
great, thank you. All right. All right, and let's vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed. Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate for that information. All right, we have no administrative reports tonight and no informational reports. So we're down to closing items. We are hoping to try to grab a picture get a picture taken before everybody leaves, please. And this is the last meeting of the year, completely last meeting.
You're done.
All right, so
Mayor.
with that,
Unless a special meeting.
unless a special meeting's called, then I'd like to thank both Councilmember Lopez and Councilmember Espinosa. Thank you so much for your commitment to the community. Really, we thank you for, your service here, but your commitment to the community, your contributions to the discussions. They've, really taken us to another thought process at times. So thank you so much. You will be missed. And we hope you don't, Councilmember Lopez, you're staying on other committees. Councilor Espinosa, we hope to see you some. And don't be a stranger.
I will. You'll
No.
hear from me.
Don't be straight, but truly, thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.
All right.
Speech.
I know. All right.
Cake.
All right. So is there any other business for good of the order? Yes. Councilmember Rayburn, Mr. Rayburn.
Madam Mayor, I too would like to join yourself and the council members in congratulating and thanking Brian. I learned earlier yesterday that Brian has been doing the budget and the audit by himself. His deputy is out on approved leave, and he's been doing it all himself. And I thought you did a great job in describing those numerous emails from the state auditor's office requesting additional information. So I just want to make sure that folks understand that he's doing it by himself with no assistance, and he's doing a really good job.
I do get some.
So what you're saying is we don't actually need all the staff we have. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no,
His whole department was on it.
right. It's an amazing amount of documentation and details that they request. It's mind boggling. It really is. And meanwhile, you're trying to get your daily work done. So yes, Mr. Rayburn, thank you for bringing that up. All right. Then we are at the end. Do we have a motion to conclude?
So move.
Second.
All right, Councilmember Peterson and then Councilmember Williams, correct?
Yep.
All right, so if there's no objections, the meeting is concluded at 7:59 PM. Thank you, everybody. Let's go take our poses.